Hey everyone, it's Casey here. I'm just setting up my screen. Hope you're having a good night. I'm just admitting a few people, and we're going to go over all our clinic tools, and we're going to go through just at the end. So I don't want to keep you too long because I know it's different times, might be a bit late in New South Wales. Just at the end of the sort of the half-hour presentation, we're going to go through just a few of the cool features that we've just added into MBSPro, the actual AI Scribe. But we'll start off with the clinic portal tools. Now, I did a talk earlier, I think about a month or two ago, with BFD, just about our clinic tools and what we're trying to do with that and building it out. So now we've got that ready to use. So we're happy to onboard any clinics that want to give it a try. We've got a 2-month free trial, and then we've got some pricing that I'll talk to you about in a sec as well. But we're pretty confident that we'll be able to add a lot of value. And the plan is to really expand what our AI receptionists can do in the context of inbound and outbound. I think that's a really big opportunity there for filling your books of your clinics, ensuring that your practitioners have got high value care or doing high value care in the context of billing opportunities. So we'll talk about that. So what I'll do, let me just set up my screen because I will show you these tools, give you a little bit of a demonstration of how they work. And then I'll also talk to you just at the end about the new features that we have with our MBSPro Scribe. And I wanted to show you one other feature that I hadn't showed you last time with the Scribe as well. 2 new features. So let me bring that up. Hopefully you can all see my screen. Hopefully you can all see my screen. Now, if there's any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. So I might do like I'll do like a little demo, and then I'll answer a couple of questions, a little demo, answer a couple of questions. So hopefully that sort of makes sense. Let me just double check that I've added in everyone. I think I have. Excellent. Yes, I have. Good. So I'll stop and check that in a second. So this is our clinic portal, I guess you would call it. What we're envisaging, the vision is that we'll have clinic tools, so tools that are used across the whole practice, so things like dashboards, doctor disbursement, so pays, as well as, let me admit there, as well as things like document scanner, AI receptions in inbound and outbound, things like that. So really like AI heavy sort of things, and then connecting those items together instead of having one separate subscription for every single different thing. There's one that sort of does everything in total. So the AI receptionist, that's our first tool. So if you're interested in that, you can send an email through. I've got the details. Essentially, the way that it works is it connects into your phone system. We can connect into any phone system that you have. We are integrated with best practice, not with any other medical record, electronic medical records at the moment. MD is something that we're working on. ZMed, we're working on that. Just signed a contract actually. So ZMed will be one that we'll have out shortly. The way that the AI receptions works is that a patient will call in to your normal phone. So whatever your phone at your clinic is, they'll call in there. And then generally we'd recommend that there is what we call an IVR, essentially like a split. So you have a message that plays when the patient calls in, and it will say, welcome to your clinic. Please hold the line until the receptionist can answer, and then have a message that says something like, if you want to skip the line and talk to an AI receptionist that can help book, cancel, reschedule, give information, press 1, and then the phone gets diverted to the AI receptionist that has access to your best practice diary. It can see all the blank spots. It can see if you have things like script clinics. So at my clinic that I own and work at, Condamine Medical Center, we do script clinics every day. So we have a couple of slots that are just for scripts. And we put in a booking that says script clinic and then book over the top of them for patients that are for script clinic. The AI receptionist can see that you've got something pre-booked as script clinic and book patients into that area and do your script clinics as normal. We're adding in new features. So as a base form, booking, cancelling, and rescheduling, giving information about your clinic. We find that saves about 2 hours of reception time a day. So that's how much time patients are calling in to ask about those things that then can be diverted from your human receptionist to high value care or the care of the patients in front of you. In the context of the future features that we're going to add to the AI receptionist, so inbound and outbound, the ability to pull up patients that owe debt so we can see the debt that's owed from best practice, filling out your demographics in the context of accreditation. So you might have only filled out, name, date of birth, but we can fill out their next of kin, their email, their next of kin mobile, and grab all that information for you with the AI receptionist. That really helps with accreditation, pulling up the debt, and registering people for My Medicare. So those are the things that are in the pipeline that I think will add a lot of value to, to general practice and what we do. So when a patient calls in, we also consent the patient to say that, for training purposes, we do record the consult in terms of a transcript. So we'll have a transcript that you can see or your receptionist can have a look at. So this is the front desk. This has all the patients that have called. You can see here, this is just in my testing environment, not in our real one with patients. I've called in a couple of times. We've got our transcript. So let me just move this. So your receptionist can see what the patient has called in for. The way that the AI checks is it looks at the patient's name, it asks the patient for their name, date of birth, first name, last name, date of birth, and phone number, and then we match that with the patient that's in your BP database. So, a 3-point ID check. You can see dog barking in the background. That's probably my dog. And so we get a transcript of all that. The AI receptionist can do multiple languages, so that is something that we can turn on for your clinic, and it can also do this. So it can also be very expressive. That's the word for being very emotive. So what that means is if a patient calls in and they're sort of a bit angry, it can register that. It's smart enough to understand that the patient's a bit angry and sort of talk to them and say sorry about the bother or whatever the issue is. It's also pretty intelligent at figuring out what it can't do. Maybe it doesn't have access to those sort of things. For example, if a patient called up and said, I wanted to pay that, that bill that I had from last week. The AI receptionist will go, no worries, we'll pass you on to our human receptionist who'll fix that up. In the future, we will add a payment gateway, so there's a possibility that we could do that. But at this stage, it'll reroute sort of complex things to your human receptionist, take care of the easy booking, cancelling, rescheduling, giving information about the clinic, opening hours and things like that. Rescheduling is really easy, and this will be a basis of our outbound campaign. So if a doctor is sick, we can get it to reschedule all the patients at once and do that, sort of in the morning, and that works really well. So this is the AI receptionist. The way that we onboard you as a clinic is that if you're interested, you can send us an email. So the email is hello@mbspro.com.au. You can send an email through, free 2-month trial, no cost, no obligations. We're really wanting to customize it to you. We will send you a form to fill out. That form will be the basis of the knowledge base when you fill it out. So it'll ask, and we get a lot of this data from your website anyway, but it'll ask things like, when are you open? When are you closed? Do you have any special, closed periods or training periods or times that you're not open or, whatever? What's your payment process like? What are your fees? What's your accessibility? Do you have physio in the same center? Do you have, pathology, imaging, so on and so forth? So these are all questions that are important in terms of the AI answering for you. So the idea is that you answer it once, and then now the AI can answer it for as many patients that call in, as needed. The other thing that's helpful is a lot of patients call in and just ask, what's the cost? Or, can I rock up on a Saturday? Yes, you can, because we have a Saturday clinic. So on and so forth. So this is really handy. Now, the other thing that we'll grab from you, which isn't displayed here, we put it in the back end, is any complex billing rules. So you might have rules around what sort of patients you see. If you do a care plan, is it 30 minutes? Is it 15 minutes? Things like that. So that's an area that every single general practice is a little bit different, and indeed probably most GPs within one center are probably a little bit different. So some of the centers that we've onboarded already, they do, some of the antenatal over, 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Some do their mental health care plans over 20 minutes or 40 minutes, 2715, 2717. So everyone's a little bit different, and that's okay. So we try and customize it to you. Now, the other thing that you can do is you can turn it off or on for any or all of your doctors. We find that it's dependent on, if your doctor wants to have it on, of course, or the demographics of the patient. On certain types of doctors may not be the type that would want to use an AI receptionist anyway. That's why we're always a big believer in sort of giving choice. Like when the patient calls in, they can press 1, 2, go off to the AI reception, or just hold for the human reception. Now, the other thing that we've got with our managed doctor section is pronunciation. It's nothing worse than an AI that pronounces someone's name wrong. And then we also put in the gender of the doctor in the context of it's very common for a patient to call up and say, I want to talk to, a female doctor about this issue or a male doctor about this issue or, whatever. So we put those in. So it's just easy to identify for the AI and, triage the patient as such. So that's the AI receptionist as a whole. That's the front desk. That's our knowledge base. This is something we're going to expand. I think AI receptionists have a big role to play, both now and in the future, probably even a bigger role than AI scribes. In terms of the receptionists, I think the biggest part of it is actually the outbound campaigns that we'll be able to run when connecting up with our dashboard. So people that are due for the care plans, people that are due for their health assessments, ensuring those sort of things don't get missed from a revenue optimization point of view. Let me just quickly check that I've admitted everyone. I think there's a couple of questions. I might answer those before I go into the document sorter. Oh, wait, no, no questions. It was just attendance. Excellent. Everyone's attending. Perfect. Let me go into the document scanner. So this is a really neat tool. This is a tool that, again, we're giving away for a 2-month free trial. So happy for anyone to give it a try and see if it's helpful. So there's a couple of ways that it works. So what this is, again, integrated with best practice. This is a tool that helps you sort your emails, scans, faxes, hard copies of just random pieces of paper that patients might give you, anything that you've sort of printed off and got the patient to look at or sign or whatever, and you want to put it into their chart. It's not for x-rays or bloods that come in just automatically into your inbox, as in the doctor's inbox. It's for everything else. So commonly we get, which is kind of bizarre, but we get verification of acceptance of referrals, which is nice. But I don't know why they come in via email as opposed to just straight into our inbox via HealthLink or MedObject. So it results in a huge scanning task, unfortunately. And then anything that comes through hard copy, like patients bringing random pieces of paper, anything that gets emailed through, we still unfortunately get quite a few faxes. So we're pretty non-digital sort of clinic as such. So the way that this has been really helpful for our admin team, two ways. So the ways that we use it for the most part is sending through an email. So we've got an email here that you can just forward documents onto, and it will download in PDF, PNG, JPEG, and just automatically download. It'll input the patient's information. Let me move this one again. So we've got good old Peter Pan who lives at Sesame Street. It'll put in their details, when the document was dated, who the doctor that it was meant to go to, who was the doctor that was sending it, any sort of subject information and things like that. Here's good old Betty Boo. So you can see in this one, it's matched the patient name and date of birth. There wasn't an address on the information sheet. That's okay. It still found the correct patient, puts in all the details. So what that means is I can import that into either the inbox of the doctor, so they'll mark it off or recall it or whatever, or I can put it straight into the patient file if I don't want the doctor to see it, because it might be something that we've already actioned. So this might be, for example, Betty Boo's brought in her, blood pressure that she's taken for, the last 2 weeks every day. And I've looked at it and go, yep, that's cool. We can just put that straight into the patient file. It doesn't need to come back to my inbox to then get marked off again and, so on and so forth. So we use the email function a lot. That works really, really well. The other way is just good old upload. So you can, sort of browse your files, upload, anything that you want or multiple documents at a time. It'll upload them, match them to the correct patient, put them in the direct doctor's inbox, as in match it to the inbox, and then you can go import to the inbox or the patient file or whatever you think. So it saves a lot of typing, manual searching, reduces errors significantly quicker. So admin team is using it at the moment, and what was taking sort of hours before is coming down to 1 hour, 30 minutes, things like that. So significantly quicker. The other thing that has to be said is that it's significantly less errors as well. So make sure it puts in the right patient. And if it doesn't find that patient because maybe they're not a patient in your database, it'll flag it. So we're a big practice where we are. We get a lot of patients that either go to the hospital and then come to us. So when we get their documentation before the patient's actually arrived here, we've never seen them before. So all those sorts of things are flagged. Now, if you're uploading a whole heap of documents at once, we do have a bulk edit function. So, for example, you had a whole heap of referrals that got, confirmed of their acceptance. You can assign them all to like the same doctor, or edit their dates and documentation, subject, etc., all at once. So it's a very convenient feature as well. If there are reports that have come back, and for example, I saw a patient once, I sent them to ED. ED wrote me a letter back to me, but the patient is actually known to another doctor that they see every single time, but they just came to me on that one day. There is a way that the document sorter will sort it to the doctor that is the usual doctor. So both yourself, in terms of, I was the one that sent them to ED, but ensuring that the usual doctor also gets the documentation. So that's a useful feature as well, especially in the context of, we have a lot of registrars at our clinic. So a registrar will come and go, and then it may just make sure that it goes in the right documentation, right inbox. So this is something else that we're giving away for free. We've got a few more upgrades that we're planning. As it currently works, it's really great. My team use it at my clinic. Saves a lot of time. So again, free 2 month trial, because we want you to use it and hopefully like it. Just got to email hello@mbspro.com.au. So happy for you to use the AI Receptionist. Happy for you to use the document scanner. You can use both. You can use one, or the other. It's fine with us. With the AI Receptionist, we do need to talk to your IT team to set up the phone lines. With the document scanner, it's just a single. You jump on, you integrate it to BP, which I'll show you. Essentially, to integrate it to BP, you've just got to put in your site ID, your name as it appears in best practice. So either your name as the practice principal, or your practice manager name, like just someone that's in the BP, that's logged on to BP, because that's how we sort of match it up. And then you integrate. That pings us, and we confirm it by contacting you and say, did you mean to do this? Yes. And then we integrate it, and then it's able to send documents just straight into inboxes and things like that. AI Receptionist would then theoretically work, but we've got to connect it to your phone line, because obviously, calling a random number that's not associated with your clinic is not that helpful. So the way that we connect it to your phone line is with your IT team. So it does require us to set up a few phone things. We have our own phone provider, that's ASAP Telecom. They're able to help out as well. If you don't have your IT provider that can do this, we can set it up for you, and that's no problems as well. So 2 months free trial for either of those. We're planning on adding more features like our dashboards, which are coming along, inbound and outbound calls for the AI Receptionist. So there's a few other things there as well. Now, in terms of pricing, so I'll just mention the pricing before I go on to the AI Scribe things that we're doing. I put this on a little PowerPoint, which I'm just going to add in the email here so everyone can look. hello@mbspro.com.au. So the pricing for the AI Receptionist, we've got introductory pricing. So 2 month free trial, no problems at all. Introductory pricing of just $199 GST a month. So that's all inclusive. So no other sort of cost or anything. It doesn't matter if you got 10,000 calls coming in or 50 calls, it's sort of all inclusive. So that's an introduction pricing as well. Our document sorter, so it's free for 2 months. And if you're sorting less than 100 documents, it's just free forever. Otherwise, $199 plus GST a month, unlimited documentation. So it doesn't matter if you're a huge clinic or a small clinic, it's just the $199 plus GST for that. But 2 month free trial, so give it a go. If you don't like it, that's no problems. We're not here to sort of sign you up to something that you're never going to use. We want this to be a tool that you'll use, that you'll like, that you'll find helpful, and that will help free up your admin and reception time to do more important things than sorting out documents, talking to your patients, providing really great care, the things that you're good at as well. So any questions about that before I show you a few cool things with the Scribe as well? Let me just double check. Any questions? Okay. Okay, question, how is the document sorter different from Samantha at CareGP? So there's a number of these on the market, exactly like AI Scribes. So all the document sorters are similar in the way that they sort. A few key things that Samantha might have, not 100% sure. So we've got the email function, so that just makes it easy that you can just sort of email it straight across. and sort of just the flat pricing as opposed to sort of like a scaling pricing. So they're probably the two main things. The other thing that we're trying to do with all of our tools, so it's not just our document sorter, but all of our tools, I do believe, need to sort of be in one. You know, we're all sick of, and this is speaking with my practice owner hat on, it's really annoying having a subscription to like 10 different things. I just want one tool that can do a number of things within general practice, a GP specialist tool. So that's sort of what we're trying to build as well. Do all your doctors need to register with MBSPro? Not at all. To use the clinic portal, you might just be the only one using it. Your doctors don't need to register it. If they want to use the Scribe, they've got to create their own account to use the Scribe because that's an individual doctor thing. But there's no requirement that all of them need to be registered or some of them. We do discounts if a lot of your doctors are using it, so we can do a multi-user discount. Feel free to email hello@mbspro.com and we can sort of go through that pricing as well. Question here. So for the AI receptionist, does the phone need to be on VoIP? Good question. I have to refer to my ASAP Telecom, which is our phone pricing, our phone, customization people, and see what we could work out for you. So the main systems that we're using it for, we can do any of those phone systems like 3CX, PBX. So I'd have to talk to them exactly if you weren't on VoIP, how it would work. Because not sort of my tech background area especially was a good question. What is the pricing after the introduction period? So the document scanner, we're sort of got that pricing. We're pretty happy with the AI receptionist. We're looking at a few different things. So this is one thing that I didn't mention, which was we believe there's a way that we can optimize your after hours pips with the AI receptionist. So there are different levels for your after hours pips. So level 1 to level 5. Level 1 is like base rate. You don't offer after hours essentially. And level 2 is like you offer after hours up to like 7 or 8 o'clock. Level 3 is sort of like to 9 or 10 o'clock. Level 4 is pretty much 24 hours, but you might do a deputizing service sort of overnight. And then level 5 is sort of like the full 24 hours. And you get funding depending on how many patients you have in your clinic, which is your SWPE, and then also based on there's sort of a rural loading, which gets applied automatically as part of your PIPs, and then what level you're doing. So those three things influence how much you get paid. So it can be up to sort of 50, 100 grand a year, depending on your how big your clinic is, how rural you are, so on and so forth. So the reason why we've done this introductory pricing, because we're sort of exploring how we can implement that. We think we can get a lot of clinics up more levels by providing an after-hours triaging service. So not triaging in the context of medical triaging, triaging in the context of like a payment gateway, diverting patients off to appropriate services that might be more suited for those patients, and therefore just optimizing that after-hour PIPs. If that's something that you're interested in, email me and I'll sort of explain how we're doing it and what we've done at our clinic. So we're doing sort of level 5 and how we can optimize that for you. So we're working with a few other big groups with that as well. In terms of the pricing then, what we've said is, look, we just want to get people onboarded and, hopefully using and liking the product. And then we're going to explore this sort of, after hours sort of function. If in my head, I've got this plan. If we can get this plan correct with the pips, working it out correctly, we should be able to offer this like very, very, very cheaply, because we'll be able to, sort of offset the price against, the gains that you'd get by optimizing these, pips and things like that. Outbound will be a separate thing as well. Outbound campaigns, if you've ever done a campaign by texting everyone, there's sort of a price involved with that. But what we do with the campaigns, which we'll announce when they come out, is that it'd be priced based on sort of like success. So, if you run a campaign and you generate, 100 care plans from it, obviously we're not going to charge you more than 100 care plans worth of revenue because there's no point then. We would do it on a sort of a subset of the value that we're providing, so that it makes business sense to actually engage with the service. So we'll talk about that after the introductory pricing. We're still just figuring out these pips and we'll announce some more pricing. In terms of price together, I mean, currently it would just be the $199 plus the $199 for each. We're looking at bundling a few more of our tools together. So we'll announce more about that. So dashboards is the next thing that we got coming out, and then bundling it with the AI Scribe as well. So our plan is to offer it all cheaper if you're picking up all of these tools. So that's why we want to give it away for free for 2 months. Hopefully people will really like it, and then we'll have a bit more information about the pricing. This is all recorded. Happy for you to share it. We put it up on our YouTube and our help page, so anyone can have a look at it later. So hopefully that's answered some questions about, how we can be really helpful with the admin and the back end of the tools, how we're trying to compete on value and, pulling a whole heap of these things together. Dashboards, does it involve all the GPs being subscribing? No, not really. We've got our personal dashboard. So if you're, I might as well show you the Scribe now just to give you an idea. Where is my Scribe here? So personal dashboards essentially just show your individual billings. So you can sort of see here, it goes through, and let me load up data. It'll show you like your missed billings, your billing efficiency, and a few things like that. And some billing status and care plans, blah, blah, blah. But our other dashboards, our clinic dashboards, which aren't here, will show everyone in the clinic, the billings per hour, revenue per consult, things like that. So you wouldn't need every single doctor subscribed or using AI Scribe for that. It would be more similar to something like, Cubicle Clinometrics. So something like that, if that makes sense. So feel free to put up any other questions. I'm going to show you. So how do you look at other doctors' billing? So with the clinic-wide dashboard, you could. With your own, so the personal dashboards, you're just looking at your own. So you can't see what other people are doing. So let me give you a quick demo of our new features. There were a couple that I wanted to show you. There were a couple. So the two new ones that we've got with our MBS planner is I've just typed this in, but if your console is obviously just running as per normal, what we have now implemented is a compliance check plus some hopefully helpful. Let me know if you got any feedback. Hopefully helpful videos on how to use the tool. So it's picked up. Oops. It's picked up that a patient is, Indigenous because I said I typed to Indigenous mental health patient presenting with a mental health care plan, and it's picked up that hey, you could do a 715. We've got a co-bill warning. So yes, you can co-bill a 715, but just be aware that there are requirements to be met, meaning that the 23 is something that is clinically necessary to be billed on that day. So only, if an acute issue or if you did the health assessment, started during the attendance, so 23 plus the health assessments. I know that's sort of a bit quirky, but that's sort of like the Medicare rules. Now, the compliance check, what essentially it does is we've compress the MBS compliance from mbsonline.com, whatever the website is, and just put it in dot point fashion. So these are all the specific things that you need to do to meet the MBS requirements. We've got it in terms of the, so you can see let me just get rid of that for one sec. I'll get rid of this. When I clicked on 715, it inserted a template. So that's our template that we think makes a pretty good 715 in terms of things that you might check. But the compliance section, when you hover over it, it'll bring up all the things in the MBS. So you can click it, it'll check. So it'll check your note, anything that you've written or anything that's been summarized, and give it a second to work. What it'll do is it'll go green tick, you've done that thing, or red tick, it hasn't been mentioned. So you can see here, there's a couple of things that I haven't put in because it's just a template. So in the template, I've said measure blood pressure, but I actually haven't put in the blood pressure, pulse rate, rhythm. So the idea is that it just provides a check of the things that you have or haven't done, and hopefully gives you a better idea of the things that are important to do. Now, the other thing that we've implemented then is videos for a lot of these item numbers. So you can click on here, it'll open up a new tab. So you'll see me doing a video on the 715, just like a 2 minute. I think I've done it in 1 minute, 50 seconds even. A really short video on, explaining the 715, how it works, some hints and tips around it. So hopefully those two things are helpful. Hopefully helpful for people that have just started in general practice, or, internationally trained doctors as well, just to make it a little bit easier because I know it can be super confusing. Couple of other things just to quickly note, because I know I've sort of, taken up half an hour of your time already. We do have a like dislike function. So if you've got an issue with a note, let us know because it helps us pick up any issues and just improve things. So that's really helpful for us. And then another quick little thing that I wanted to show you, which is just about ready to come out, not quite yet. I think I showed most people last time. It's our personalizations feature. So let me open it up here. we're still working through a couple of different things, but essentially what it does is it allows you to add in personalizations to your note. So you can see here, I want to write type 2 diabetes as T2DM, or I could say here, write 58-year-old male as 58-year-old, oops, not 85, 58-year-old M. So I might like writing my notes like that. What it means is you can either add in your own personalizations or you can edit your notes and it learns from your history. So let me cancel out of this one. It'll look at the edits that you've made and say, okay, you like writing, specific things like this, or you like ordering certain things like that, or you like your SMART goals like this, and it means that it makes a really, really specific note to the way that you're doing, your notes. The other thing to mention just in here is we're now added in questionnaires, so you can do a K10 and it'll put it in your note, or you can do a DAS21 or a GAD or a MMSE or a mini cog or something like that, and that'll put it into your notes. That makes it a bit easier. We're working on texting that out. So let me show you our pre-consult function. Essentially with the pre-consult, this is not quite out yet, but very, very shortly, we send out a text and it just asks a bunch of questions about, the patient, what they're coming in with. What we're doing is we're adding in the ability to add some minor level of customization to the questions that are going out to the patient. So you might ask them about their health assessments. Let me reset that to the default. You might ask them about their health assessments, or their mental health care plan. And this is specifically asking about something that has been completed. So the patient might have a care plan, a 965, and they're due for their 967. So when you have this question on, so blue means it's on. What it'll do is the consult will ask the patient and say, hey, I can see that you've got a chronic disease management plan, a 965, and you're due for your 967. Would you like to book that in? And that comes up in your pre-consult as one of the questions in the waiting room. So that's something it won't be in yours quite yet, but essentially it will just allow a little bit of customization to the questions that the pre-consult asks the patients. Now, the final thing, I know I'm sort of like 4 minutes over. The final thing I want to show you, which is a really, really cool feature, not quite ready yet, but this is our CPD tracker. Essentially, we're going to turn this into a CPD home. So you get it free with the scribes. You can upload all your CPD and track it and be, AMA, qualified or whatever, like a proper CPD home. That's what we're working towards. And it'll measure your activities. You can upload your activities. If you're doing anything in our research function, when you're, asking about management questions or, researching or whatever, it'll get added to your CPD. And that will mean that you can just keep track of the things that you do between patients. Even if it's 5 minutes, we'll do, 5 or 10 minutes of looking up stuff a day easily, probably more. But if you're doing 10 minutes a day, you're actually doing, 2 hours a fortnight, and you're actually doing, hundreds of hours a year. But we've just got to track 50. So we can track all that, make it easy for you, submit it off to, well, not the AMA, I said the AMA, didn't I? But the Australian Medical Council, and be a proper CPD home. Now, the other thing that we're adding in, I don't have a demonstration to show you, but essentially what we can do is we can ask the AI to review your consult. So it'll review your consult and sort of give you a scoring and or ideas on, how to, what to do better, and how things could have flowed better. That can be tracked as CPD, but hopefully that'll be helpful in the context of, doing last bit you got. But essentially, we've got the dashboards, we've got the CPD tracker, so we can track your CPD as a CPD home. So that's what we're rating of things that can be done or improved, and all tracked as CPD. So sorry, I dropped out. Good old rural internet. All recorded. I'll just put that in there. A couple other questions which we'll answer quickly before my internet dies again. So will the compliance tool pick up health assessment data from the health assessment template in BP? It only picks up things that are in the actual scribe. So anything you put in context or anything that is spoken. It's a business decision. We can't integrate with BP where we're integrated, but we can't see sort of things in there. We just pull out billing data, wait times, things like that. So can the questionnaire be emailed? Not at this stage, but we're adding that in because it's been a heavily requested feature, so we can just text it to the patient and they can do it sort of in front of you. Is the pre-consult going to be sent automatically via email at some certain time? Yeah. So the pre-consult gets sent 24 hours before the consult, and it'll ask sort of those questions that we talked about. Can you directly save pre-consult questionnaires to BP? So the pre-consult questionnaire gets put into your, current consult. So you click on a patient in the waiting room, and then it'll open up their notes here in the consult, as in their pre-consult, and it gets put into your summary. And then you copy and paste that into BP. So that's how we sort of do that. Does the scribe ignore fruity language? Yeah, it does. So it just picks up clinical things. Question there, can you highlight where to find the personalization option again? So it's not currently out. It'll be down in the right-hand corner of your context field. Same as this physical exam, previous consult, BP actions, etc. They're not in your scribe yet. They're going to be coming out very shortly. Same as a questionnaire. That's our next lot of updates. So not quite there yet, but coming very, very soon. So that's why you can't see these on your own as well. Scribe still not including verbal consent for internal exams. Oh, okay. Let me add that in. So that's good feedback. Good feedback. DAS, yeah. So we're adding in the function in the pre-consult where we'll text out a DAS, so you can do it at the time of consult, or if you're pre-consult as well. Why is there no dashboard? So the dashboard is for if you're integrated with BP. We have a dashboard which tracks your billings, and then we have a waiting room which shows all your patients and their let me just show you, because I did this last time. Let me open this one up. So the waiting room, let me move this one, make this bigger for everyone. So this is what we went through a couple of times. So the waiting room will show sort of your billing opportunities, your pre-consult. So there's patients coming in for their script requests and, melanoma. And we also show your average wait times as well. So it's sort of tool that shows you if you're going to be running late each day. And then we also do dashboards. We just show sort of your revenue per consult, billings per hour, things like that. So we're fiddling with those a bit. So that's only with the BP integration because we've got to pull that data from BP. So how do you get it to review your consult? That function isn't out yet. We've just got the compliance check, but we'll do the review of your consult shortly. Okay, scribe sensitivities. I've told the devs about that one. Hopefully they'll get onto that one ASAP. I know they definitely got it on their list of things to do. So hopefully that'll be helpful. And then yes, MD integration. We're working towards that. ZMed is coming out. We've got a contract with ZMed, so we'll be integrated very shortly. We've got a My Medicare check coming, so we can check. I'm back. Sorry, everyone. Dropped out again. But I think we're pretty much done. I'll put in my good. Oh, dropped out. Now I'm back. So I think we're pretty much done. This is all recorded. I'll put it up. So any questions, send through to the email. If you want to try any of these tools, the documents or the AI Receptionist, send an email through. Happy to set it up for you. But I'll leave it there. Otherwise, drop out again. Yeah, so can you hear me now? I think you can hear me. We'll we'll finish it up. We'll finish it up now anyway. So send me a message, send me an email, and we'll sort you out. We do these every last Wednesday of the month. We do the masterclass to go over all the new features and things like that. So hopefully that's been really helpful. Send me a message if there's any issues, but appreciate your time. Oh yeah, can you provide the link for the Q and A's? Yes, yes. Thank you very much. Had a few in there. And let me write a comment here. Hello, MBSPro.com.au. Well, quick last little question. Any difference between the various AI models? They've all got their own flavor of what they summarize. Some are a bit more concise. Some might, be wording that's more specific to the way you like things worded. So really, it's a trial and error thing. They're all pretty similar, to be honest. That's been my experience because all the major models are all pretty intelligent, know what's clinical and not, and so I think they're all pretty similar. So anyway, we'll leave it at that. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate your time. I always find it hard to find these videos. Oh, before I go, let me show you where the videos are. So if you go to our help page, which I will put the link up, which you can access in the help section here. So you click help in the section, and then you've got our guide, which has our BP integration, etc. But if, for example, you want to get a video, let me just show you. Oops, I want to search for help. So this is our whole video section. This is everything that we've got. Our 2-minute explainer videos, our MBSPro Masterclass and live webinars. So these are all our webinars. So you can access it from the help page just on here. So if you click on this one, it'll expand. And there's our video, which we put everything on YouTube. So you can subscribe to my YouTube. So hopefully that's all good. All right. Appreciate everyone's time. Hope you have a good rest of your night and rest of your week. Thanks, everyone. I'll leave you to it. Bye now.